Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the Energy Reverse Pitch event. Good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are. This is part of our Smart Cities Corporate Reverse Pitch event series that our Smart Cities event team have put together. We thoroughly enjoyed learning from our partners across mobility, real estate, and IoT divisions. I also wanted to thank our team, Arsh, Juni, and the rest of the team that contributed to this event for putting up a great show. So I wanted to go ahead and kick off the event, and I'm excited to be able to speak with you at the end in the networking event. And our team will talk a little bit about the Remo application and how we can make the best use of it. So my name is Wade Bitaraf, and I'm the founder of the energy program at Plug and Play. We're incredibly excited to be able to contribute to the energy transition of the world as the population grows. Therefore, the need for innovation and sustainability. And as many of you know, the cities are at the forefront of this transition. Over 60% of the world's population is expected to live in the cities by 2050. That would add another 2.5 billion people to the cities. And just an interesting stat, 90% of these growing population will be in Asia and Africa. So we're excited about our joint efforts with the smart cities groups at Plug and Play, and we know that this will accelerate the adoption of new technologies and foster innovation in our ecosystem. As of today, we passed more than 43 million confirmed COVID cases globally, and many of you are familiar with the energy sector. It's been hit really hard across the board, some companies more, some less. Our partners in the energy program have committed to transform their businesses in the long term, and we're grateful to be able to work with our forward-thinking partners that represent different parts of the value chain as well as geographical presence. So huge thanks to our partners listed here, and of course the ones that are not. We're excited to hear more from you today. After the presentations, we'll be moving to the networking session, where you'll have a chance to meet with our champions who are leading the charge and we're meeting with startups every day and learn from them firsthand. So without further ado, I want to turn it over to my colleague MJ to take it away, and excited to hear the rest of the presentations. MJ, over to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Wade, and welcome everyone to our Energy Reverse Pitch event, the final event of our three-part reverse pitch series. Before we hear from our 5 presenters today, just some quick details on Remo. I'm sure many of you have used Remo before, but for those of you who haven't, or if you need a quick refresher, it works best on desktops and laptops, and not so great on mobile devices, unfortunately. Make sure your browser is also up to date and ready to go. And if neither of those options seem to solve your technical difficulties, we're here to help. Feel free to chat with us at the help desk. Here's a quick glance of the networking screen that you'll see later on. Starting at the top, we have our corporate table numbers. So here in this poster, you'll be able to find the details of where each presenting corporation's table will be during the networking session. Moving clockwise, we invite you to please edit your profile, including your picture, and most importantly, please add your company name before your name to make your virtual name tag just a little bit easier to read. We also have our chat box down at the bottom where you'll be able to chat with all attendees or individual attendees, depending on who you're interested in connecting with. There's also 2 floors, the first of which you'll see our presenters, and the second is where you'll find more general networking. Lastly, our help desk is on the left for anyone having trouble with Remo, and you can also find your camera and mic settings on the top left of the screen as well, if you're having trouble connecting virtually. With that, I would love to get the show on the road. We are excited to feature 5 of our corporate partners today across our energy vertical. Without further delay, I'd love to welcome our first presenter, Fernanda with Gerdau, to the virtual stage. Gerdau is the largest producer of long steel in Latin America, with steel mills in 11 different countries. Fernanda, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me. Let me tell you a little bit more about Gerdau. So Gerdau is a company in the steel industry. We are a Brazilian multinational. We've been around for 119 years. We mostly operate in Latin America and the Americas, so we operate in over 9 countries. We have over 30,000 employees, and we are one of the biggest and largest metal recycling in Latin America. When you look at our product portfolio, the easiest way to understand it, it's really to think about its applications. So we have what we call long steel, and what we have is called special steel. Long steel is what you're going to mostly find in construction. You can find it in other industries, but this is where you are most commonly coming in contact with our product. So these are the beams, the rebars, the wires that you're going to come in contact as you're building construction. And then special steel is what you're going to find inside of a car. So in the automotive industry, they're going to take those high quality bars that we do, and they're going to reshape them into parts. So it's pretty easy. This is also how we separate our own business units. So we have business units inside of commercial steel, and we have different business units in special steel. Gerdau has been working with innovation for quite some time now. So in addition to the Silicon Valley office and our corporate venture that I'm going to tell you in just a second, we've also spinned off 2 companies so far. One is G2Base, that's working with building foundations, and the other one is G2L, which is about logistics. They serve all our logistic needs, and they also have expanded to the market. We also have a joint venture with Votorantim and Tigre. And basically here, this is a mix in between a marketplace and a fidelity program, but it gives our construction clients a place to go, a one-stop stop that they can go and get everything they need. But let me tell you a little bit more about what we're looking as a Silicon Valley office. We've been focusing very strongly on digital. And specifically, we've been looking for digital solutions that will help us connect and interact with our legacy systems. We're big companies. We all have them, you know, the SAPs, the QMOSs, and all these other systems. And sometimes they aren't as easy to use. And so we're looking for solutions that will connect with those systems, make it easier on the user, and especially help us do and optimize our supply chain. Another big focus that we have is our sales and client analytics. Now, when you look at this market for customers, it's incredible, right? B2C, it's incredible how creative, how many options you can find, and how many other ways you can interact with your clients and find new clients. Now, when you bring this reality to B2B, it's so hard to find something that's going beyond the obvious. And this is really what we're looking for. How can we bring that, you know, quality and creativity from B2C into B2B and help us then generate new leads and help us generate new customer experiences? How do I find out when is the best time to interact with, you know, a procurement manager? And that's really what we're looking for. Now, when we're talking about our venture, our corporate venture, it's called Paris Ventures. And here you're going to see we have a very strong synergy. So the first topic of interest that we have in investments is omnichannel, very related with what we just talked. Then we have integrated supply chain. We've been looking into construction technology, specifically prefab, but we're also interested in solutions that will increase productivity. So that's definitely an option. Bringing it a little bit closer to our core business, then here we're talking about additive manufacturing, 3D printing in metal, and advanced materials. So both materials that can interact with steel, but also materials that could substitute steel. We're both interested on this. Then we have Industry 4.0, and most recently, energy storage. So here what we're talking about is we know EV is going to be big, electrical vehicles are going to start growing, and we also know that the infrastructure is not necessarily there to support that amount of vehicles. And so that's really our focus. We're trying to see what other solutions are there that we could potentially offer, we could potentially partner. And we're very flexible in the way we partner, right? So we do direct investments, but we can also do indirect investments and partnerships. So this is really about finding what is the best solution for both companies. As you can see by our startup portfolio, we have been doing a lot of programs with the company all over. We've had over 32 proof of concepts and pilots, and 4 of those actually scaled to a global level within Gerdau. And so this is one of the things that I want you guys to remember, is that we are very strongly committed. Once you guys get in and we like your product, we're very committed to have it diffused throughout the organization, because that benefits everyone. What is the scouting process? It's pretty straightforward and simple. Just send us an email, 7 to 10 slides. If you're focused on funding, on investments, then there is some additional information you need to send us. If you just want to offer your product as a potential partner, then just send us, what's the problem that you're solving? What is the solution that you have? And then we'll get with you in an introduction call. And from there, our processes diverge a little bit. If we're going to go for a pilot, then we'll introduce you to the core. So we'll introduce you to the final client. We're going to discuss how this pilot is going to work, do the pilot, scale it up. If it's in the investment side, we're going to start doing, checking the numbers, doing a preliminary diligence. We'll do the diligence, sign the terms, define the terms, sign the deal. Very, very straightforward. So that's what I had. You have my contact information here. Please send me those emails. We're also going to be available in some of the desks at Reno. So go there, talk to us, and we look forward to meeting you.
Fantastic. Thanks for kicking things off for us, Fernanda. Next up is Brian with Wind Ventures at COPEC. Wind Ventures, located in the San Francisco Bay Area, is the newly established corporate venture capital arm of COPEC, one of the leading energy companies in Central and South America, and one of the most valued brands throughout Latin America. Brian, all yours.
Well, good morning. My name is Brian Walsh. I'm the head of Wind Ventures. I'm very happy to introduce Wind Ventures to the plug and play ecosystem in this reverse pitch. So I'll go over who we are and what we aim to do. And what you'll hear throughout this is a theme around what we view as our superpower, or our value prop beyond capital, which is growth acceleration for global startups through Latin America. So in short, unfair access to Latin America. That is what we aim to bring to our startups and our scale-up partners. And so a little bit about us. Wind Ventures, we're the corporate venture capital group of COPEC. And COPEC is a dominant energy player throughout Latin America. The name wind comes from not wind energy, as you might guess, but from the corporate logo that you see in the center of the slide. It's the globe with the sky and the clouds. And so wind represents the chaotic force within that causes change. So that's why we are called Wind Ventures. And so a little bit about COPEC. So COPEC is the dominant energy player down in South America. They're headquartered in Santiago, Chile. For simplicity, think gas stations and convenience stores. But in addition to that, we also provide energy services to large commercial and industrial companies down in South America. We've been around for almost a century. We're the largest company in all of Chile. And COPEC Fueling, which is what we're associated with, shares the same name with the bigger company, COPEC Empresa, which is into so many other different companies, including agriculture and forestry. And so because of that, we share the name, and we also share one of the most trusted brands throughout Chile and Latin America. For us on the fueling side, we've got 3,500 stations globally. There's 2 brands throughout Latin America, and then 1 brand in the United States. In Chile alone, we have 630. Most of our stations do have a convenience store of some sort. We've got #1 market share in many of the countries in Latin America, including Chile and Colombia. We also have a significant presence in the other countries you see listed here, including Colombia, Peru, Panama, Ecuador, Dominican Republic, and of course the United States, where we're a top 30 convenience store brand. We are also a leader in EV charging through a company called Voltex. That's a homegrown new business unit, and we're also bringing renewable energy and intelligence around energy to consumers, and that's through a new business unit called New Energies. And so we're on a mission to lead the mobility and energy and retail sectors transformations down in Latin America. And in order to do that well, we've created a pretty unique and I think fairly compelling new capability. We're calling it the Wind Platform. And there's really two key elements or groups that make up the Wind Growth Platform. The first one is the Wind Garage. And so this is a group down in Santiago. They're former COPEC engineers and former entrepreneurs. And what they get to do is think about the future of COPEC every day across these three themes of energy, mobility, and retail. They formulate new business ideas, and then they go out and partner with big companies or small companies to go move COPEC into new directions. And so it's a startup studio type group plus a partnering group. And then you've got my group, which is here in San Francisco. We're a corporate venture capital group. We're looking across the same three themes. And this, you can see where we provide the scouting capabilities, we provide the venture capital talent, we provide the startup mentoring and company building expertise as a venture capitalist will do. And then the partnering of accelerating a portfolio company leveraging COPEC is done through our partnering team. So a dedicated team to do that, which I think really does separate us from actually making that value proposition quite real. I will say we have done it before, and I'll tell a little bit about that when we get to the portfolio. But from an investment strategy perspective, these are the three themes that I've spoken about: energy, mobility, and retail. We're looking to do about 6 new investments per year. We're really focused on Series A or later. We like to help you scale. We don't like to help you iterate on your first MVP. We'd much rather be useful to you after you've achieved that. We are scouting globally, so we're in San Francisco because this is where the most relevant startups are, but we're looking in Asia even, but a lot in Europe and a lot in region as well in Latin America. We can lead or follow, and partnerships not required. There does need to be a strategic rationale and a return rationale. Portfolio, so we've done 3 investments last year, and we've done 2 so far this year with a very healthy pipeline to do at least 2, maybe even 4 more this year. But we're a big investor into STEM. I'm quite excited about that. This is a virtual power plant and intelligent energy storage. And then Ampere Energy does something quite similar, but for the residential sector, they're out of Spain. Turntide, recent investment, breakthrough energy motor that's commercialized and really can be a significant part of the energy transition. Quite excited about that. And Cargo is doing some interesting things in digital advertising. And then Chipper is Colombian-based and doing some very interesting things in driving the digital transformation of mom and pop or corner stores. And so very excited about all of these. Into our model, we have made investments, but we have already formed joint ventures with STEM and Ampere Energy to bring them to Latin America through COPEC. We are aiming to accelerate the growth of Chipper, an in-region startup, and Turntide. We're formulating the go-to-market plan for them to get them to Latin America. So this is our model, and this is what we like to do. From a team, I've been in venture for over 20 years here in the Bay Area. Last 7 years, been on the corporate side. It was at McKinsey for 3 years. It was their corporate venturing expert, flying around the world. And then I'm joined with Sean Simpson, who comes from General Motors. So brings a deep mobility expertise. He's also been a startup founder like I have. And then Bob is our senior associate, comes from private early stage venture capital and has done quite a few deals from North America in Latin America, has a wonderful network. And so very interested to talk to any startup that thinks that our quote unquote superpower could be interesting to them, or if they just want to learn about the Latin American market, and feel free to reach out. Again, Brian Walsh, head of Wind Ventures in San Francisco, and you can see my email address right there. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Brian. And as a reminder to those of you in the audience, we welcome you to join the networking session after all of these presentations are finished to give you an opportunity to meet with each of these presenters directly, connect. Let's head on over to Energy Steiermark, where we'll hear from Thomas. Energy Steiermark is the 4th largest energy and service company in Austria, engaging in the electricity, natural gas, and district heating businesses there. Thomas, take it away.
Hello, my name is Thomas Wiedner. I'm Head of Innovation Management of Energie Steiermark and also Directing Manager of our next company with the next incubator. Today I'm really happy to show you some details how we do innovation management, what we do, and what we are looking for. Company with about 600,000 customers and an EBIT of about 100 million euros last year. We also have subsidiaries in Germany, Slovakia, and Slovenia. Why we do it? We have to initiate of business models through new technologies. We have to expand companies' mindset. It's very important. Issue leadership within the energy sector in Austria and internal development, business excellence. How we do it? We started a few years ago our company Next with the Next Incubator as an open space for innovation with our own brand. Our tasks are startup incubator, product development, and open innovation for all these topics which are a little bit far from the energy sector but also closer to the energy. What we do, we have pilot projects, R&D, management of ideas, also internal with about 400 to 500 ideas per year in the company. Support for funds, support for management of funds, product development, and a lot of corporations, especially to plug and play. How we do it? There is well known the annual session of plug and play, the annual sessions in the vertical energy and sustainability. And now we take this output of the plug and play accelerator program to the next incubator, to the private deal flow. Definition of search fields of Energie Steiermark together with relevant departments, screening through plug and play in all verticals, and then private deal flows with core business development, sales, generation, systems, and operator. This is our process. Networking partner, plug and play. You see on the left side 2 years ago, exactly 2 years ago, it was the first meeting with plug and play with Wade and his team in Silicon Valley. And 1 year later on the right side, you see me with Said. We became champion of this vertical energy and sustainability, and I'm very proud for this. I'm very proud of my team for getting this after 1 year. But how we do it? How we do it? There was the annual session, for example, 2019 in February, here based on our project with noiseless acoustics. And you can see on this slide after 2 months, really after 2 months, there was the implementation in the Energie Steiermark. There was the annual session, we had a selection day, there was the preparing, presenting the startups, naming the experts, decision, interest of managers, pilot project, and really after 2 months, this was the best practice for us. We had the implementation in April 2019. These are some facts of noiseless acoustics. We make sound visible, but please take the details here from this slide. The E-Selectionday, our internal selection day we created, it's quarterly in our company with our executives and also CEOs. We are connecting the experts. We are presenting also with the support from plug and play, some startups from 10 to 20. We are detailing which project could be useful for which department. And then we want to make very fast, very early a decision for a stop and go for this project. And this takes about 2 to 4 months, not longer. Our focus on topics, whole value chain in electricity. This is district heating and gas, energy services, and also mobility, but except generation of gas. This could be topics, ideas, startups, a little bit closer to the energy sector or a little bit far away from the typical energy topics. And which requirements? The requirements, we are really customer oriented, so we need solutions not for primarily industry, but for private customers, small and medium-sized companies, cities and communities, farming and housing. The startup stage should be a prototype, is developed or testable, not only a little bit of designing on a white paper, and the focus is also on scalable business models and strategies. So, and now I'm really happy to present you our big picture for our really most important topic by now. It's sustainability. We built a sustainability hub the last months. And here you can see that we will be a magnet for projects, for contents, for new partners, for corporations all over the world, also international, also regional, for these topics who will take part in this sustainability hub. It's very important in a topic for us, and we will be this international hub. We will create the new future with this hub. So at this time, let me take the opportunity to thank Wade and his team. Thank you very much for your unique and really special support in all these projects and all this stuff. And I wish you a good day. Stay healthy, and please do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thanks, Thomas. Now let's head on over to New Zealand, where you'll get to hear from Andy at Contact Energy, one of New Zealand's leading providers of electricity, natural gas, broadband, solar, and renewable.
Hi everyone, it's Andy Sibley here from Contact Energy in New Zealand. We're an energy company that services around about 40% of the load in New Zealand from a commercial perspective and our residential customers. And we have a large renewable generation fleet and also a servicing and retail arm. So we've got a pretty broad portfolio. And one of the things we've been really moving forward is creating a movement called Change Matters, which is helping our customers move to a low carbon future and really connecting them to that renewable energy source. To do that, we've also recruited the help of a small company that we bought called Simply Energy, which is a startup brand, and how we're driving that whole energy perspective in New Zealand. We've been really creating this movement and really driving some of this forward and using plug and play as a way of connecting to new startups at an early stage and really bringing innovations and ideas down to New Zealand and take people on the journey. But here's a little bit about what Change Matters is, and I'll come back to you shortly after that. Thank you.
When it comes to matters of our rapidly changing climate, it's fair to say that at last there's enough people with enough foresight to understand there's a big problem on our immediate horizon. It's not the figment of myth or imagination, and it's not going away. Not in our lifetime anyway. It's also fair to say that thankfully there's a groundswell of support in the corporate world, backed up with a range of initiatives, commitments and innovations that represent a promising start to reversing the damage done by the world's outdated technologies. But for all the promises and positive actions that are happening in the world today, there's still an enormous mountain to climb. What the world needs desperately is more people, and especially more businesses, stepping up to do their part. But where do we start? What can we do? Many simply don't know but are hungry to learn. That's where we come in, because we've got just as much reason to make change happen. And changing the tide of climate change is really the only thing that matters. We've recruited an amazing team to help and effect positive change, not just in our own business, but in yours as well. We feel a responsibility to help lead others to a future where energy is clean and sustainable, because we wouldn't be putting our energy where it mattered if we stood by and let others do all the heavy lifting. So where will we put our energy? Where it matters, where it will get the best results, where it will create the biggest change, where it will benefit the most people, where it will benefit the planet, because ultimately, that's all that's ever going to matter.
I hope that was helpful. That sort of sets the scene around Change Matters and creating a movement and helping industry in New Zealand move to a lower carbon future. The emission profile in New Zealand, we have a very renewable grid, 85% renewable. So we want to bring more of the industry connected to the grid through electrification, etc. So a lot of our work in the future is around helping customers electrify, looking at more renewable on-site generations such as solar, wind, etc. And how do we do that? And some of the journey that customers need to go on is really become more efficient to start with. And we're also looking for technologies that are really focused on customer efficiency in the way they operate, in the way they use energy, and any innovation around that will be very useful, and we're always keen to hear from anyone. So that's some of the journey we've been on. One of the key technologies that we really did find in Plug and Play, which has been very useful and connected our commercial customers to a really lower energy future, was Sapient. And this is a little bit of update on how we sort of applied Sapient in the New Zealand context, but it just gives you enough flavour for how we've taken an innovation from Plug and Play, from a startup, and really sort of accelerated it within New Zealand. Thank you.
They're the humblest of all devices in your office, and I bet you don't even give them a second thought. Now, we've got big plans for these little gadgets.
You may think of plugs as nothing but mindless connectors to the grid. But Contact would like to introduce customers to some that are super smart, the Sapient system. By deploying hundreds of these smart outlets throughout a building, live power consumption data is collected from every plugged-in device. Armed with this information, which is displayed on a handy dashboard, the plugs begin to learn.
And as they learn, they teach.
This machine learning instructs which devices to switch off when they aren't needed, shaving peak demand and load shedding, identifying inefficiencies or dangerous faults, and appliances that aren't used can be repurposed. All of this could add up to some serious cost savings. The system can even point to a more efficient office layout, saving valuable square footage. Not to mention how this world-beating system reduces a company's carbon footprint as well.
Which means even these little plugs are smart enough to know that change matters.
I hope that's been helpful. It just sort of sets the context of what we've done with a startup idea and used that in the New Zealand context. And that's really gone very well for us in New Zealand, and how we can grow together and create mutual benefit. So that's one of the sort of key examples that Contact and Simply have really shone a light on in engaging with startups early, getting the wonderful ideas, co-creating some growth together, and starting at an early stage so that we can sort of shape the future and see where the value is with our customer base. We have a large customer base for people to try new ideas with, so delighted to hear from you, and always grateful to connect with new innovations and ideas. So thank you very much for listening. Enjoy the rest of the reverse pitch, and take care, and good luck from New Zealand.
Thank you, Andy. To cap off the wonderful assortment of presentations for you today, we have DCP Midstream. DCP Midstream is a Fortune 500 company for midstream petroleum services headquartered in Denver, Colorado. Here to tell you more are JC and Sharon.
MJ, thank you for the introduction. And Plug and Play, as always, thank you for all of the events that you do. So I'm JC Chambers alongside with Sharon Allpress, and we're here to tell you a little bit about DCP Midstream and what we do. So DCP Midstream is in the midstream industry, which is really the middle portion of the value chain. So we sit in between the natural gas production, so the producers who are drilling and are getting the oil and gas, and then the end users, and we connect them. We're a must-run industry because without us, we would be venting tons and tons of methane into the atmosphere. So we collect the methane, we gather it, we treat it, we compress it, and we get it to your homes. We clean it up so it comes out your homes safe to use. So DCP Midstream, we are a 90-year-old company. We've been around for a long time. We have a footprint across 9 states across the United States. We play in the major basins, the liquid rich basins in the United States, including the DJ Basin, the Eagle Ford, the Permian, and the Mid-Continent. So our footprint is perfect because it's in the middle of the country. It's well positioned for success. So DCP is a Fortune 500 company. Recently, we were recognized by the World Economic Forum as a global lighthouse leader in the 4th industrial revolution. So we're very proud of that. and everything that we've been doing technology-wise to really drive that adoption and that award. So DCP Technology Ventures, we started our digital transformation back in 2015. DCP Technology Ventures was added 2 years ago. And what we're doing is we're accelerating our transformation through adopting the external ecosystems. So working like startups and accelerators like yourselves. Also, we work with universities and VC companies to source all of our technologies. So this three-pronged approach has been very successful for us and has driven a lot of the things that Sharon will talk about next. So I'll pass it over to Sharon Allpress.
Thanks, JC. So I'm going to talk about some of the technology focus areas that we are working on today within Tech Ventures. In Tech Ventures, our focus is not just the implementing current technology. We're really looking at emerging technology that's really going to transform the way that we run our business, transform safety, and transform our environmental stewardship across our footprint. So, the first area I wanted to get into is smart wearables and applications. So this really is the area of where we look at hardware and software, and we look at that and see how we can use things like smart glasses to empower our frontline workers who are out in the field day in and day out, 365 days a year. We really want to continue to push the needle from a safety perspective, as well as an operational perspective. So we're looking at things like smart glasses, and then with the smart glasses, looking at how can we do virtual plant tours as well. That's really has become high priority with the world of COVID. The next area is around sustainability and greenhouse gases. We have rolled out, we spent about a year and a half, we're a year and a half into a methane emissions survey across our footprint. This is one of the largest methane surveys in the world that's been conducted. It's helping drive and lower our emissions significantly, and we wouldn't have been able to do this without our partnership with Kairos Aerospace, a startup that came out of one of our accelerators that we work with. We're also looking deeply in the carbon capture technologies and how we can look to reduce more of our methane and then also capture CO2. The next area, AI/ML. So we're looking at machine learning. Right now, we're focused in the predictive maintenance area. We're looking at machine learning models, building machine learning models of various wearable parts on our compressor units. We want to be able to repair an issue prior to a catastrophic failure, thereby improving reliability across our footprint. We're also looking to use ML to enhance our control systems, looking at semi-autonomous operations and also product forecasting. So in support of AI/ML, it's been apparently clear that we really need to, in order to feed those models, we need a lot of data. And so we have an initiative in the IoT space, putting out best of breed, modern, leading edge sensors across our footprint, and then looking at edge analytic capabilities so we can run our ML analytics at the asset, so to drive instantaneous improvements in automation at those locations. So some of our technology use cases, one of the areas that we're also really proud of is we also build apps internally as well. And so in support of our integrated collaboration center, we have built out a decision support system. So it's an advanced analytics system that analyzes 7 billion streaming sensor data points per day. With the methane, as I mentioned, we have partnered with Kairos. And then with our predictive maintenance on some of our wearable parts, we are partnering with ChampionX. So thanks for listening. If there's any way that we can collaborate, if you feel like you're a fit within our focus areas, we would love to chat and have a virtual coffee. Thanks to Plug and Play for hosting this. It's been great to participate.
We look forward to talking with you in the chat room.
Awesome. Thank you both, JC and Sharon. Before we head to the networking, we wanted to remind you that our Winter Summit is approaching in less than a month, a wonderful 4-day event showcasing the emerging companies that have progressed through our innovation platforms over the past 3 months. We'll kick it off with the IoT and real estate and construction verticals on the 16th, followed by the culmination of our smart city verticals on the 17th with mobility and energy. FinTech and travel will take over the 18th, and we'll end with InsurTech and health on the 19th. So feel free to join us. We'd love to see you there in just a little bit over a month. Once again, thank you to all of our marvelous presenters today and to all of you in the audience who joined for our final event in this reverse pitch series. My name's MJ. I'm on the partner success team here, and I am looking forward to chatting with you during the networking, which is right now. Thank you all very much.